Hey, I'm Kyle Racky. This is the Proposify Biz Chat. On today's show, I'm talking about how to charge more so that you can get out of that race to the bottom and start becoming a premium brand. So if you've ever been in the position where you lose a deal because your client goes, "Oh, I found somebody cheaper who can do it," then you're basically in this situation where you're seen as a commodity. So let's say, for example, you sell web design as a service. You're competing against not just other freelancers or other agencies in other parts of the world that can afford to charge less, you're also competing with Wix and Squarespace and all these do-it-yourself website builders. That is the nature of the beast. That's technology. That's the way economics works. Things start out at a certain price. At one time, VCRs were thousands of dollars. Teslas were even more expensive when they started Tesla. You know, they started selling to the high-end market first. And then naturally, over time, things get cheaper. That's the way things work. And that's the way, for example, web design works. So it's a challenge if you're running a business to be able to figure out how to actually charge more so that you're not just competing on price. And in order to do that, you really need to know who your ideal customer is and change the conversation from price to value. So that's what I'm going to be talking about today, and here are 6 ways to do it. So the first thing is you just need to raise your prices. You literally just need to do that. At Proposify, we offer a service that is on the smaller end of prices. You know, we're not selling $1 million accounts or $100,000 subscription plans. We're selling $50, $100 a month to small and mid-sized businesses. Now, one thing that we found when we actually started breaking down our price plans is that people who were on very low tier plans, so we even offered a $10 plan that we recently got rid of. And when we actually looked at the analytics on a per plan basis, we noticed that people who were on $10 plans, they churned or they left or canceled at an astronomically higher rate than people who were on $100 a month plans or even, a couple $1,000s per year. Those higher end for us customers had disproportionately higher lifetime value and low churn. So anytime over the past few years we have raised our prices, even by a little bit, we almost have had no pushback from customers or leads. Now, we do grandfather existing customers, so they get to stay on the price plan, but new people who come into the funnel don't complain about the prices, and often it really grows our business when we do that. So it's kind of taught us the lesson that we can't be afraid to charge more, and people who pay more tend to be better customers. So if you're running a web design business or a marketing business or any kind of business, and you find that you're charging too little and you're competing with people who charge even less, then just start raising your prices. Next time you're talking to a lead, and let's say you sell a $5,000 website normally, try $10,000 or $20,000 or $50,000 and just see what people say. Because sometimes you'll be amazed that people will not flinch when you throw out a big number. People are sometimes willing to pay more than you think. Now, of course, you are going to get some pushback and you might even lose some leads, but you have to be willing to jump out on a limb and try something new if you want to get out of the race to the bottom. So sometimes you just have to try it, see what people say, learn, and move on. So next, after you've increased your prices, make sure that you are actually delivering 10 times the value of what you charge clients. Far too often when small business owners are charging too little, it's because they're not charging the right way. Freelancers, for example, might be charging by the hour, and that's how they frame all of their pricing discussions, is how much they charge per hour. So the focus of the conversation becomes your hourly rate and how long things are taking versus what value are you actually creating the client. So if you're going to charge high prices, you actually need to be able to back that up and be high value. You can't be a shitty web designer and charge rates that you're going to be competing with some of the best web design agencies in the world. So make sure that you're actually bringing the quality. Like if you look at brands like Versace and Gucci and all these high-end fashion brands, there's no way that they're even going to try to sell to Walmart's audience because it costs them more to make their clothing, and because people who are their ideal buyers are actually looking for quality. They aren't trying to find the best deal in town. People who buy from high-end fashion brands have higher end taste. They see the quality, whereas somebody like maybe myself, when I look at Gucci and Versace and those kind of brands, I'm not really going to pay those prices because I am more of a price-conscious customer. So those brands know who their ideal client is, and they know what kind of quality they're looking for. And that's what you need to do as a business owner, is you need to look for the customers who are looking for high quality and then actually deliver it. And that might mean maybe you aren't the one really doing the work. If you find, say, the best creative director you can find, and maybe you even pay them more than yourself, but they're bringing a whole level of quality to the work that you were never able to do as the owner, then that's worth doing, because then you can charge those high prices and you can actually back it up with quality. If you're a digital marketer, you should be able to put a dollar value on how much value you bring your clients. You should be able to tell if you're bringing them $1 million worth of leads, then you can justify charging $100,000 or a couple $100,000 for it, because the value is so much higher than what you're charging the client. And now the conversation isn't just what's your hourly rate. So one of the things that we do at Proposify, and we're by no means a high-end brand in terms of price, but when we're talking to leads and they're pushing back on price or saying that they know a competitor who offers cheaper plans, we try to frame the conversation differently. So we talk about how many proposals do you write? How much time is it taking you now? Here's how much time we could save you. What is your time actually worth? What is it worth if we can help close even, a percentage higher of deals for you, or close them faster? How much is that really worth to you? And then they start realizing, wow, the value is super high. So maybe $50 or $100 a month isn't that much. And that's basically how we start talking value and not price. If you can start doing that with your leads, you'll notice a huge difference. Now let's talk about nailing your positioning. So often when you're having trouble competing with a sea of competitors, it's because you look the same, right? You're too general. And so the way to stand out is to show how unique you are. And that doesn't even necessarily mean you're 100% different from everyone else, but maybe 20% over here is very unique and very special. And so we sometimes find that with Proposify, people are comparing us against other competitors, and we might all offer very similar features, but our hook is that we are the best when it comes to design. So we're after very design-conscious companies. Those are usually agencies, they don't have to be. But if you care about design and you want the freedom and flexibility to customize the look of your proposal the way you want it, then go with us. And we can have 80% of those features, other features being the same as our competitors, but this is our hook. And so think about it in terms of your own brand, your own service. What can you say that's going to be that much different than anybody else? Maybe it's an industry. That's really good for service-based businesses. So let's say you focus on the manufacturing and distribution space, or the legal industry, right? When your ideal lead comes to you, you can be like, we're awesome at web design and digital marketing and conversion optimization. But what makes us really shine for you guys is we totally specialize in your industry. We know it inside and out. We can speak the same language. And that is unique positioning. That's going to help you close those deals and stand out from your competitors. Now, related to positioning is brand. So brand is what people think of you when they look at your company, when they have an experience interacting with you. And brand always wins out in the end. You have to remember that. So if you're buying Facebook ads and you're running them against your competitors' ads, it doesn't matter so much the mechanism or the technology that you're using to deliver those ads. What really matters is the messaging, the design, how things look, how things feel, and of course, when a customer actually interacts with you, what kind of experience they have. That is brand, and that's something, if you're starting a business from scratch, you have no brand, you have no reputation, and that's what you need to start working on building right away, is how do you want people to feel about you when they interact with you? Because brand is always going to win out in the end, right? Even though Apple is, some say they're not as innovative as they used to be, and they aren't, and sometimes the products aren't as high quality, people will still go out and buy Apple products because they've got decades worth of brand behind them, and they can weather almost any storm because they've invested so much in their brand, and they can also charge more because people love and respect that brand and still want to put Apple stickers on their various items and on their desk and on their book bags. Next, you need to really target and retarget your high value customers. So in order to have a profitable business, you need to be able to acquire customers cheaper than how much they bring in terms of revenue into your company. So in order to do that, for example, if you look at online advertising using Facebook and Google AdWords, you often have to filter out a lot of people in order to lower your cost per click and your cost per acquisition, right? You don't want, like for example, if we're targeting people who are writing proposals, well, we want to negatively keyword match the people who are searching for how to propose to your girlfriend, right? Those people aren't going to be our ideal buyers. And you need to kind of take a similar approach of really knowing exactly who your audience is and filtering out anybody who isn't, so you're not spending time or money to acquire them. A way to do this online is to use Facebook ads, specifically Facebook audiences. So if somebody comes to your website and they fill out, say, a lead capture form, or they download a lead magnet, you can actually know who did that and then retarget them with different ads on Facebook. For example, we do this when somebody signs up for a trial of Proposify. We then retarget them with Facebook ads to download our free iOS mobile app. And we do that because we know that people who download the mobile app while they're in a trial are in a more likely, statistically position to then become a paid customer and upgrade to a paid account. So you can look at using that kind of model. You can also look at account-based marketing. So this is becoming more and more talked about, is account-based marketing, meaning instead of going to a whole pool of people or a target persona, you're actually specifically targeting one company or one person within that company with marketing messages, emails, content. So a way to do that is with LinkedIn. You can use their advanced search, and let's say you're targeting a certain type of company. You can find those companies, where they are, and who is in their organization that you need to talk to. Maybe it's the CMO, maybe it's the IT director. But then once you know who you're actually targeting, then you can run campaigns for those people where you're creating super hyper targeted messages for those people. And doing that is worth it if you know that the end deal is going to be large enough that it's worth the time and energy to create personalized content for them. And so the final tip to really keep in mind is just have the guts to turn away bad business, to turn away bad leads, ones that you know aren't going to provide the value you need in your business. It sounds very easy in theory, it's difficult in practice, and so that's why you need to practice it, right? Know who your ideal customer is, how much you need to be able to charge them in order to run your business profitably, and then you can very easily see who isn't going to be a good fit, and then just have the willpower and the confidence to be able to say, we're not the right fit for you, and send them elsewhere. We did that. We were talking earlier about the $10 plan. We realized that the churn was too high, the lifetime value was too low, so we just got rid of the plan because it wasn't adding value. And so you need to do that as well. If you can put all of these tips to practice and start employing them in your business, then you're going to find you actually can charge more and live a better lifestyle, because you're not always chasing after clients and losing out on price. So I hope you find that super helpful. Be sure to subscribe, as always, so that you get more tips like this every week, and I'll see you next time.